I was like, dude, I just gotta just stop holding back. It's like I kept holding back a little bit because
Yeah.
I didn't want to. It's almost like I was a little bit timid. I didn't want to show the world who I was or whatever,
Right.
And it's just like, man, I just let it go, and I mean, it worked for me. I mean, I don't know how people would take it. I mean, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, via DMs and stuff.
What the hell's going on out here? Welcome back to another episode of Fueled by Spite. As always, I'm your host, Dr. James Taylor. Again, like, share, and follow. Today we have somebody that I have literally just met probably about 8 minutes ago. Jesse Peña.
Jesse Peña. Yeah.
Peña. All right, cool. We're discussing, and he had a reel that came across my feed. Zuckerberg felt like we should know each other, and it hit at the right time. So who is tell everybody, including myself, who is Jesse?
My name is Jesse Peña, man, and I've been doing construction for about 10 years now. Prior to that, I was a Marine. Well, if you're once a Marine, always a Marine. If you know anything about
I've heard
Marine.
such a thing.
So I'm a Marine. Grew up in Irving, Texas. Come from, I'm not going to say poverty, but just lower class, and I've been doing construction for about 10 years, and now we're into the phase where we're scaling our business, and part of that includes we're starting a trade school called Texas Construction School. So
That's cool.
yeah, so our vision with that is, I mean, we want to inspire the workforce. So we do commercial interior finishes, similar to what you have here. We do drywall framing, acoustical ceilings, all that kind of stuff. And believe it or not, there's not really that much skilled labor. And if there is skilled, it's, few and far between.
Okay.
So, we're looking to fill that void, and inspire is really the biggest, one of our biggest goals. We're trying to inspire the workforce.
Yeah.
And part of that is, I mean, we haven't even announced this, but I'll tell you, it's we're going to host an annual event called the Texas Construction Olympics as part of our initiative to, we want people to be excited about what they do.
Yeah.
And now more than ever, men need to work with their hands and be proud of that. It seemed like it just went away, and people just are like, no, I'm going to, be a chiropractor. No offense,
No, I got you.
And so there are people who need to still do certain manual labor jobs, and so
AI is not going to replace you.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, no, dude, it's funny to say it, like, legit. I wanted to be a doctor when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And it's like, high school dudes, you'd be a gynecologist, thinking about it. And then there was like, you don't want to do that.
That'd actually be a pretty cool job, man.
They're not coming. I imagine they're not coming to you to show off. They're coming to you to get something taken care of. So it's like, my mom did a lot of work with her hands. She did a lot of woodworking stuff. Yeah. She did a lot of, she got Christmas money by making crafts, and all her crafts were, we had a wood shop in her basement.
Okay.
I was the kid that showed up, at least at the beginning, with the Pinewood Derby car that I quite obviously made myself. Right. So it's like, okay, well, I want to be a doctor. Well, what kind of doctor? Orthopedist. Okay. Why? Well, because their tools are hammers and chisels. I was like, all right, okay, I can do that. And then I realized I got to go to school for like a long ass time.
Yeah.
But what else can I do? Chiropractor. You still got to use your hands. Okay, perfect. I'll do that. But dude, you're not wrong. Like, the amount of people that can literally fix things with their hand, build stuff.
Yeah.
The amount of dudes that can build stuff is dwindling by the day.
Yeah.
And again, like, you're not going to be replaced by AI.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Now, that being said, as that number does continue to dwindle a little bit, you'll be able to charge a premium.
Yeah.
For damn sure.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you this much. That's too much. Cool. Find somebody else.
Yeah.
I can't. Or do it yourself. I can't. Okay, well, then it'll be this much.
Yeah.
Tell me about the trade school.
So, man, I mean, first off, the name, our construction company's Texas Construction, which is I used to not think it was a bold name. Now I'm like, man, we are claiming Texas, man. We're saying this is us, And so the trade school, Texas Construction School, is exactly that. We're going to focus on teaching guys how to do construction of all assets, or of all, in all respects, right? So we're starting off with what we do in order to kind of cherry pick the labor for ourselves. We're going to teach framing and drywall and painting, acoustical ceilings and stuff, which those things can be taught way faster than like an electrician or teaching electrical or plumbing or these other trades that require licensing.
Yeah.
So that's our focus to start off with, but we are going to get into welding and teaching all these other things. And like I said, it's going to allow us to cherry pick the best talent. Also, we're going to inspire them. Like, that's what my biggest focus is. I want to be up there in front of these guys and along with our staff, but talking to them and letting them know, like, you want to know this stuff. And even if you don't want to do this forever, at least you want to know what the guy coming over to fix your plumbing is talking about, right? Whenever he's there, And so, which I have several friends that just have no clue, and, and they'll call me for whatever, but it's like, man, you kind of lose a little bit of your manhood when you got, you don't know anything about that.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's our focus. We want to inspire and kind of give a little bit about a little bit of what we know and how we operate, because I mean, we have a pretty good customer base that loves us, and it's because of how we are, we're team players, and all of the way, I guess the way we run our business is kind of that's where that video I posted stemmed from, because we're all about teamwork. I mean, doesn't matter if you're our competition or not. There's no competition, honestly. It's like we're a team, man. I mean, there's enough meat on the bone for everybody, right? So, so yeah, that's the school. It's right down the road from you. Actually, it's on Airport Freeway in Richland Hill.
Oh, so it exists.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we're in the early stages. So we're in the process of converting it to a nonprofit. Because originally I started it as an LLC, just for profit.
Yep.
A mentor of mine recommended that I turn it into a nonprofit in order to, so the goal is with the nonprofit is to allow for the students to come and not pay out of pocket.
Yeah.
And there's
like a Cars for Kids kind of thing.
Exactly.
Or
The state has funds, to train the workforce. And so we want to try to use as much of that as possible. So, people can come through the school, get trained and leave. I mean, if you're going to be doing construction and working with your hands, you shouldn't leave in debt. You're going to be.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, this is awesome. Yeah. So I'll share with you. And again, this is now 18 minutes into our friendship. Just the absurd commonalities that I'm noticing. Number one, I told you before we started running, I just got back from basically like a men's retreat prior to, coming across your reel or your profile. And it was the same thing, we got a band together. They talked about a book there, and I actually did a solo episode on this, which I'm 18 pages into the book. Apparently 18 is the number in my head right now. Which I think you'll absolutely love, again, based on our deep friendship.
Yeah.
It's called The Mask of Masculinity.
Okay.
And it is the masks that boys are taught to wear that they end up not being able to take off as they grow to men.
Wow.
So there was that. You touched on that. My goal with this place here is to literally open up more offices, and because there's a chiropractic school right over in Dallas, and I've got ins in other ones.
Yeah.
In business, especially in chiropractic business, there's plenty of people who will help you in. There's not a lot of people that will help you out. So I want to train people on how to run an office, and then give them their own office, and then train them how to train somebody to do that so they can leave a legacy on their own and they can get out in time. So there's that, like, I'm starting a trade school.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, dude.
Yeah.
So just all this stuff. And then
I'll be your guinea pig, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's fair. So what I want to do here, I want to show you your reel, and then, like I said, we'll post on here for them to see, just so it's fresh in everybody's mind.
Yeah.
And it was the impetus for this meeting.
All right, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm feeling led to get this off of my chest. It's been building up for a while, and I got to let it out, man. It's like every time you turn your damn phone on or the media, it's like some negative fear shit they're trying to perpetuate. And it just tears me the fuck up, because we're too damn good for that. All right? I'm here to tell you, man, it's time for us to stand shoulder to shoulder, chest up, chin out, and unite, man. That's what we're here for. We're all here for each other. Open your damn hearts. Let the love pour out, man, for each other, for everybody around you, all your brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, or you're gay or straight or tranny. It doesn't matter. We are all the fucking same. And I just got to get that off my chest. If you don't have anybody to look to or to talk to, I'm here, man. And there's millions of other guys and women and men like me, okay, that want to help and want to be out there. Well, I'm standing 10 toes down right now. So it's time, guys. Wake the fuck up.
5 days ago. Today is Monday, so this was last Wednesday?
Oh, yeah,
Sound about right?
Something like that, yep.
What was going on right before you hit record?
Man, so I drove, went out to Garland to look at a project, and honestly, this has been kind of festering up inside of me for a while. I just didn't know how to really articulate the message or what I wanted to say. And I actually recorded a couple of takes, and none of them were hitting. And then I put my phone down, and it just like a wave of emotions came over me. I'm getting chills just talking about it, man. But
as you should.
Yeah. And it just like, I was like, dude, I just gotta just stop holding back. It's like I kept holding back a little bit because I didn't want to. It's almost like I was a little bit timid. I didn't want to show the world who I was or whatever, you know? And it's just like, man, I just let it go, and it worked for me, you know. I mean, I don't know how people would take it. I mean, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, you know, via DMs and stuff. I did say tranny, which I regretted. But I also was called a tranny before being called a tranny was cool because, yeah, man, hilarious.
Cool.
Yeah, man, a hilarious story. When I was in 6th grade, I grew up on a street where there was a whole group of us, you know, friends. Well, there was 2 girls that were 2 years older than me, so they were in 8th grade. Well, I pissed them off, and I showed up to school in 6th grade, you know, and back up a little bit. You know, we had grew up for years before that, and one day I let them dress me up as a girl, put a wig on me, and we all took a picture of the whole street, all of our friends, and I'm in the middle dressed up like a girl. Well, that day I showed up to school, and there's freaking paper posted all over the pictures of me with handwritten notes. Jesse Peña's a cross-dresser. Jesse Peña's a tranny.
What year was this, ballpark?
Oh man, dude, I'm 35. Oh, dude, in the 90s.
I'd say 98 was 5th grade, probably 98 to 2000, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, and so, yeah, man, like my best friend was taking all these, running around taking signs down, trying to collect them.
That's a good friend.
Yeah,
that's a good friend.
Best friend ever, man. Yeah, shout out to you, Lee.
Appreciate you, Lee.
Yeah, but I mean, they had them plastered everywhere. Teachers had them. Everybody was laughing at me.
Yeah.
You know, I was a cross-dresser. I was a tranny you know, for a while. And then I thought it was all over. And then, you know, by 8th grade, and then my favorite science teacher, through a pile of papers, ended up pulling one out, and I had to relive the thing all over again in 8th grade. Yeah, so I feel your pain.
You ever see Superbad?
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And people don't forget.
People don't forget. Yeah.
This is an interesting take on it too. So, with the understanding that that word is not as accepted as it may have once been in the past. I'm not making an argument whether it should be or shouldn't be, but whatever. Did you get negative comments or a little backlash for saying that, or is that you just like, oh, no. you in hindsight?
I felt bad about it. Okay. You know, because I mean, my message is love, man. Like, I didn't mean any harm by it at all. You know, and matter of fact, my Theo is my Thea now. You know. Okay. You know, and I'm not gonna say anything more on that. You know.
Yeah. No. And the reason I asked is simply because, like, again, kind of fueled by stuff getting lost in the message. Like, the message is fantastic, but that in this day, if you will, you can totally see somebody attaching. Oh, he said tranny instead of whatever the alphabet is. Yeah, and just totally losing the message themselves.
Yeah, that's the way it is, and I only feel bad about it if it offends anybody, and I'm sure it would offend somebody, you know, and so that's. But like, I'm not going to take the video down because of that, you know.
Because the message in the video, is again, not to offend, with but it's so much more important than the slip of the tongue, for lack of a better word. Yeah. How does? I'll play off a little stereotypes here. How did that? You said you did a couple of takes, and you are a strapping man, a construction worker, and a former Marine. And your voice cracked in that thing. Yeah. Was the thumb wavering when you hit post, or was it just?
It was
just hit it
instant.
And just
let it go. Yeah. It just it just happened, man. It just happened.
I mean, we're obviously gonna link it. I want to see. So we got 47 likes. We got 24 comments. Only 3 shares. I'm 2 of those. Well, you gotta tell your friends to share your shit, bro.
Yeah. You know, and I think some of that is I mean, I'm not a very religious person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I believe in God, but
Yep.
I don't necessarily believe in the mainstream way that it's portrayed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll never push religion. That's not my message at all. I believe, honestly, if anything, religion separates people, whether you're Christian or Muslim, I mean, or anything, whatever you believe, it's separating you. And when the reality is we're all the same.
Yeah.
Why should a religion make you hate somebody else, or like that shouldn't even be inside of you?
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, the story of like, you know, when Jesus, apparently he didn't have any power in his hometown, you know, because his people knew him as a carpenter.
Mm.
And so like, that's kind of how I look at it. You know, I'm not going to ask anybody to share my stuff. I mean, some people shared it and,
Yeah.
you know, and whatnot, but it's not, because I don't look at it as a personal thing. I mean, it's just like, oh, that's Jesse, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
you know, keep going. And so, yeah, it is what it is, I guess, as far as that is, you know, it didn't get a lot of traction or whatnot, but yeah, like
I'm gonna see if I can't change that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's what you want or not, but I like it,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna share your message.
Absolutely. I think everybody needs to hear it, man.
So as a make another comparison here, as a humble carpenter.
Yeah, yeah.
What? How do we do this? How do we change this? How do we? What's the next? Again, stupid, gigantic question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as the world, it's love, man, and it's unconditional love. That's the truth. We all need unconditional love, and we need to give it. And as a man, especially, we're the ones who lead with love. We have to, you know, as a leader of our household, as a leader of our businesses. And don't get me wrong, women, you as well. But I'm talking, you know, because I'm a man. I'm talking for my brothers that are next to me, you know, that I work with every day. You know, like, you have to lead, you know, and women lead too, obviously. But yeah, we have to lead with love. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to fight and argue and get mad at each other. But that does mean we're not going to like let it get to a point where we're wanting to kill each other.
Right.
You know, or, you know, like, there's all these, if you're not black, you're white. If you're not Christian, you're Muslim. If you're live in Texas, you know, I hate you because I'm from Cali. You know, it's everywhere. I mean, even if, like, you know, I grew up in Oak Cliff and Irving, and then my family is from West Dallas. So if you're from any of those areas, you know, like, if you're from West Dallas, you don't mess with East Dallas. And it's like that divided. Like, you just get divided to even to your block. Yeah. You know, and it's crazy. Like, we're all the same. I don't know why there's so much division.
It truly is amazing how the division, just the amount of different ways it can be done. Not can be, has been, is currently be, like, even right now, like Richland Hills, Northridge Hills. I don't know if you're paying attention to any sort of like local election. There's a nasty election going on in North Richland Hills right now. I actually didn't really know about it till about like 2 weeks ago, but like, you know, then Zuckerberg shows me one thing and all of a sudden he shows you a bunch of other stuff. And it's just like, holy shit, like this is like national level kind of smear campaign. Yeah. And it's, why aren't we running on principles and thoughts and ideas? But in that too, like, then all of a sudden, as just regular people, why aren't we acting on thoughts and principles and ideas that bring us together as opposed to divide us apart? Yeah. There's, let me see if I can find it here real quick. Just kind of giving, I brought up that book that I was talking about. And I did an episode on it, Masks of Masculinity. I'm going to read through them with you. And again, just, I feel this will be hope. This will be good stuff. Just give it in, because you've kind of grown up, if you will, correct me if I'm wrong, in a more of a hyper masculine world, right? Yep. And basically what it is, like I said, it's the different masks that boys are either taught to wear or, for lack of a better word, kind of inherit. But like anything, if you do it too much, then it becomes a part of you, not almost, like to your detriment. And the masks are the stoic masks, and I guarantee you will identify with some of these, or if you don't, you know people who are. The stoic mask, the guy who walls off, nothing affects you. The athlete, if you're a good athlete, you have to be a good man. The sexual mask, obviously it's about body count. Aggressive mask, you take what you want, you fight, you hate, you have enemies. Let's see, the Joker, sarcasm, sense of superiority. The invincible mask, you don't have any fear, you take risks. There's no consequences for you. The know-it-all, that's the intellectual dominance. And then the alpha, the guy who's the one-upper, if you will. And when we covered these at that mastermind, one, again, I own all those masks. Yeah. Some of them I wear more than others. Some of them get stuck on me more than others. But in all reality, like, I don't think I could add to that list. I think it's a perfect list.
Mm-hmm.
So going off of this brand new information that you're literally just presented with, and just your point of view from the video, how does a guy take off the mask?
Again, it goes all the way back to love. I mean, that's the root of it all. And when you think about an individual, I guess what I try to do when I see somebody is I try to see and understand that they were once a little kid, that something had to have happened to them if they're acting out of hate or one of these masks, right? If they're wearing one of these masks, I try to see that, like, okay, something happened to them along the lines in their life that caused them to build this kind of reaction to certain scenarios that makes them put this mask on, or makes them believe that they have to wear this mask, this aggression or this dominance or something like that, and it's really just like a trauma response, really, you know, to life. And I mean, it sounds funny, but it's like they just need a hug. That little kid inside of them just needs a hug. And I feel like everybody needs a hug, And so, I mean, for the longest, that's what I was searching for, and that's what, your wife gives you, if you do it right, at least, just a good hug. And what I mean by that, it doesn't have to be a physical hug, a metaphorical hug, like, man, I got your back. You're not alone. We're a team. Everybody's here together fighting the same battles, and it's all inside of us. It's an inner battle.
Right.
It's not against me and you. It's you versus you. And so in order to transcend those masks, you have to realize that, that little kid inside of you just needed a hug and needed to feel protected,
Just a carpenter, huh?
Just a carpenter.
Sure?
Yeah.
Sure. God damn, dude. Yeah. This is awesome. There were 2 posts. Again, I don't know which came first, whether it be the reel or the other one. I said I came from, that was the other commonality we had. I came from a mastermind, and then I found on your thing, you're attempting to set a mastermind.
Yep.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So actually,
can I do? I want to be. I'm in.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Let's do it. Just to drop my buddy, Dr. Chris Nelson, the other chiropractor. He actually
also a very handsome man.
Yeah, very handsome man. Great guy. Great chiropractor. And I would say it's more than a chiropractor.
You gotta have a beard to go into, because you got a beard, he got a beard. I can't grow a beard.
Yeah, no, you should be okay.
Okay,
man.
fair.
Yeah, just paint one on, dude. You're good. Yeah. So he invited me to coffee one day. We went and sat down, and he explained to me that concept of a mastermind, which I had read in several books. Think and Grow Rich was one of them. And years ago, me and a group of my friends, we actually had a mastermind. We didn't call it a mastermind. We called it Wiener Wednesdays. And just me and the guys would get together on Wednesdays.
Yes. Shit. Dude. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, we called it Wiener Wednesdays, and we would link up and, with the intention of growing with them. We're all entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, and, it would be intentional, or we would try to grow in some way or another, and, it just kind of fizzled out. But anyway, the drive was
there. If it lasted longer than 4 hours, you should have called a doctor anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so, after speaking with him, we just got our new shop for the school facility. The school is going to take several months to start, because I don't even know if I finished that earlier, but, we're in the process of transitioning it from a for-profit to a nonprofit. Yep. So we're waiting on documents from the IRS. Then we got a licensing approval and whatnot. So that's a
real expedient process.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, and I even typed the letters to request an expedited review and whatnot, but I mean, it's 4 or 5 months at least, so I have the space there, and, and it's like, yeah, let's use it for something, And so we're putting together that group, to just, it's not business focused. That's the thing, is like before it was about money, and now it's not. Like for me, it's more about like, what can I do for you? What can you do for me? Or you're
about relationships.
Yeah, you're a chef. That's cool. Or you're a cook, or what? You don't even have a job. That's fine. Like there's always something of value that everybody's experience has.
Yeah.
Everybody has something to offer, and even if you don't, we're here to give. That's the point. You don't have to think you have something to offer. Just show up and be around the people, be in the room with people, and so that's really what the mastermind's about. And and of course we have a lot of entrepreneurs and stuff that are interested in that, that are going to be involved and whatnot, but it's for anybody, and so that's,
dude, you're so fucking cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah.
Okay, but I got my little speed round here.
All right.
So let's see. This is basically just the First thing that comes to your mind, one of those kind of things here. Let's see. Give me a person you would trade places with for a day.
My wife.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, I want to alleviate her from her mom duties for one, but I also want to experience that and see what it is because I mean, obviously it's taxing, you know. And my experience is like, or at least in the past, I've always, you know, I grew up the old school way where it's like the mom does the mom stuff, the dad does the dad stuff. Yeah. And my mom does work and she works very hard, you know, just putting that out there, you know, but you know, like my grandma and, you know, and all that stuff, you know, one of my grandmas, especially, she's a stay-at-home mom and my grandpa worked, you know, and that was always like the lifestyle that I always felt like I would, you know, live. Well, and so we're lucky enough to where my wife doesn't work anymore. She was forced, she had to quit her job because of the COVID vaccine. Okay. And so she, you know, she left her job and now she's a stay-at-home mom, you know, to our kid. And I would love to see exactly how that is because I know it's not easy. Yeah. I mean, just the times that I watch them, we have a 16-month-old son and it's just, there's not a break, you know, when he's up, you're there and you're doing stuff, keeping the house clean and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I would like to trade places with her and I'd like to give her a run at what I do, you know, as well, you know, so I think it'd help us both respect each other a little bit more,
Fair.
You know.
Honey, these dovetail joints.
Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure. I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure. I mean, I love golf.
Fair.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do porn anymore. That was the thing of the past, which was a hard thing to overcome. You know, I was introduced to sex at a very young age. I mean, it was a very young age. I had some pretty traumatic stuff with sex happen, you know, early on. And so it just like, I was sexualized. My whole life has really been just I guess sex was a big thing. And then if you turn on your TV, you can't help but get away from it. I mean, you can't get away from it, you know? Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, guilty pleasures nowadays, I guess it's just golf or sleeping in. Yeah.
This is not the thing here. If you don't turn on your alarm, what time do you wake up?
6:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be sleeping in.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the worst advice you've ever been given?
Oh man, this goes back. So when I was in the military, I got in trouble. So I got into a fight out in town we're celebrating because I just got promoted and got into a fight, got arrested. And when I got out, I got out the next day and I called my chain of command and let them know like, hey, I got accused of getting into a fight. Right. So
words are important.
Yeah. A few minutes later, it just I was like, oh, I had this gut wrenching feeling. I was like, okay, I can't do that. So I called him back and said, hey, you know, it was me. I did do it, you know? And he was like, all right, cool. Well, we were actually getting ready to go on a workup pre-deployment, you know, some pre-deployment training. We're going to go out to the desert. And so it was a Sunday. I showed up to the shop and go into his office and my OIC and my master sergeant, they were sitting in there. And the advice they gave me was just the less you say, the better, you know? And so I ran with that. Yeah. And it ended up biting me in the butt because we went to see, the chain of command ended up seeing me, right? And I went in there and, you know, said, I plead the fifth, you know, I don't know, you know, I don't recall. Yeah. And then, so they, it got to the point where they took me to see a lawyer, a Marine lawyer, right? And when they took me, my officer that gave me that advice, he actually said, hey, we're going to go in there and talk to him as well, because you did tell us the truth and we want to see if we're going to, you know, if we're liable at all. Yeah. And so turns out they went in there and talked to him and they're like,
we want to go in there and cover our ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got to tell everybody now because we can get in trouble. And I was like, well, I remember this vividly, man. I told him in the car, I was like, look, how about this? How about I just go confess to the sergeant major and say, hey, I did it. He's the first one to know. Nobody else knows. You know, I'll take all the blame. I don't want y'all to get in trouble. Yeah. And I respect my OIC for saying this, but he goes, no, as a leader, I can't let you do that. You know, I have to come out, you know, and tell him the truth. But when he did that, the only one who got in trouble was me. So that was bad advice, man.
That's about right.
I think being honest is always the best policy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a good follow-up to that. What's something you wish that you were better at?
Are you trying to say I'm not honest, man? Something that I wish I was better at, patience.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
I am a very impatient man. It's like I just want to see everything right now, and yeah, and it's tough to step back and just realize, like, just be present. Everything's okay.
Fact.
It's gonna work out. Yeah,
What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Uh, ooh. One of my friends told me my energy was magnetic, and
That's cool.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, he actually wrote it on a letter. So I went down
From a dude.
Yeah, well, because I went down to his wedding. He didn't want to write it. He wanted to tell me in person, I'm sure, but I was so hungover after his wedding. Like, man, I'm sitting there puking. I'm so embarrassed. I was puking on his floor and farting at the same time in front of his new bride, and it just like it was hilarious. Well, they left on their honeymoon, and they left all my clothes and stuff packed, and called me an Uber. And when I opened my bag, when I got home, there was a letter there, and it was like a long, sweet letter, you know, and just a good friend of mine. And he was like, "Man, your energy is magnetic." And I was like, "Well, that's awesome."
Save for last night.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
What's an idea that you think most people get wrong?
God. I think that most people don't understand, and myself included, you know, but I think that most of us don't truly understand the way God is and God works, or what God is, how to define God. Yeah, I think that's a big one, man. And I think it's important, whether you believe or not, you know, whether you're an atheist or not. Well, I mean, you're always believing in something, you know. And so, in my opinion, I think that it's all internal, right? So your connection with God is through your mind and your thoughts and your feelings. And like I said, this is all my opinion. I'm no preacher or anything, but I've been studying this stuff for
Simple carpenter.
Yeah, I've studied this stuff for a long time, and to try to understand, you know. And I think that too many people give their power to an external source when the true power lies within, you know.
Fact.
Yeah, and so
Fact.
yeah.
What's tell me about the best year of your life.
Oh, the best year of my life. That's tough. I don't think I've lived it yet, man. I don't.
That's a fucking awesome answer.
Yeah, I don't think I've lived it yet. I really don't, man. It honestly, when I think back on my life, I mean, and you know, anybody who sees me on social media would think that I have just this perfect life and that I'm just.
Well, yeah, that's what social media is for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, but the people who know me the best, they know, like I've, you know, like all of us, I've been through some shit, you know, and like I said, it can be tough, you know, but that's what makes us, you know, that's what shows our resilience. That's what forges us. And so, yeah, I'm grateful for all the struggle, but it's not easy by any means, you know.
That's a sweet answer, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. With the understanding again that we have now been friends for 32 minutes. And we both came in this 100% blind.
Yeah.
What's a question you wish I had asked you?
That's a good one. That's a good one, man. What's a question you thought I'd ask you? You wanted me to ask you?
Dude, I don't like I came with that right there is the most preparation I did. That and watching your reel one more time before you walk through the door.
Yeah.
Because again, like you're the second person I've had on that I had never met before. But the guy before you, we at least exchanged a couple of messages other than trying to get our schedule squared away. So like, I'm assuming that you came into this equally as blind as I did.
Yeah.
But in all reality, I don't think it could have gone better.
Yeah. Well,
dude, this was awesome.
Yeah, I agree, man. It was awesome. And
Sweet.
I look forward to it. And honestly, you know, you reached out to me last week, and this weekend I just had a lot of, I don't know, I felt down, man. I felt down this weekend, and I have a lot of stuff going on with work. And, you know, as we try to scale, there's a lot of financial stress that we go through and making payroll and stuff. And so it seems like that's one of my triggers is, you know, for the past 10 years, I've, you know, it feels like a big struggle with the business, you know? And so whenever, you know, I have something like that on my mind, it makes me just kind of want to shell off and not do anything. And like, especially like a podcast, you know, it was on my mind. I was like, oh man, I want to do it so bad, but it's just like, I don't know if I'm right, you know, if I'm right now to go do it. And then, man, I'm so glad I did, you know, I really, yeah, it's been awesome. And yeah, I look forward to doing it again, man. Yeah.
Jesse.
Yeah. James.
Thanks for the time. Thanks for answering my DMs.
Yeah.
again, as I say this at the end of every episode. Again, I don't expect you to have watched any of them yet. I'm sure you will now.
Yeah, yeah.
But like my intent here is that people will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design.
Yeah.
And legit out in there, it seems like there are two types of people in this world, and this is not a James Taylor original. This is actually from Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. When it comes to any sort of substantive thing, there's two people. There's either people who are idiots or they're uninformed. And I would hope, at least after watching this, people can no longer say that they're uninformed.
Wow.
So, again, not wow me.
Yeah.
Everything is stolen, dude. Nothing's new. I'm just repurposing it.
Well, I love it, man. Yeah, dude.
Again, appreciate your time. Guys, as always, like, share, follow. Oh, what? Do you want to be found? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram or TikTok or any platform at I am Jesse Peña or We Are Texas Construction.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Cool, dude.
You don't need to email me or call me.
don't call me.
Not yet.
Again, appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Guys, like, share, follow. Check out Jesse.
Yeah.
Dude, give that, right now, it's a second reel on his Instagram page. Go give that thing some likes and shares because it's a short and sweet message that legit everyone needs to hear.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing it.
I appreciate it.
Cool,
Yep.
man. This is awesome.
Man. Yep.